Today, we've been exploring the question of why does God let bad things happen? One of the stories in scripture I think of when I want a greater understanding of that question is the story of Joseph. It seemed like one thing after another for him. Joseph's journey began with betrayal by his brothers. Driven by jealousy, they sold him and he was taken to Egypt. And in Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Joseph remained faithful and worked hard, but then Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him, and his refusal of her led her to make false accusations of Joseph, which resulted in imprisonment for him. This was a lot for one person. It seemed what started with a dream for Joseph that he had about his future really turned into a nightmare. But we see throughout the scriptures found in Genesis 37 to 50 that Joseph trusted God. He remained faithful through all of that, and he saw the goodness of God. Psalm 27 verse 13 says, "I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." Bad things happen because we live in a broken and fallen world, but we serve a good God who promises that here on earth, we will see the goodness of God. When you feel like you're walking through fire, I want you to remember these two promises of God's goodness. First, God is always present in trials. Throughout Joseph's ordeals, God was with him always. Even though the path was filled with hardship, God's plan prevailed for Joseph's life. This constant presence provided Joseph with the strength and favor that he needed throughout it. And it reassures us that God is with us even in the darkest times. And secondly, God's ability to redeem. Joseph's story is a powerful example of redemption. What was meant for harm, God turned into a source of salvation. This highlights God's ability to redeem any situation for his glory and for our good. As Joseph said to his brothers in Genesis 50, verse 20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." So although in this world we will have troubles, as scripture tells us, we are to take heart because God has overcome this world. In other words, difficult things happen in life, in this world, but God is always good. Remember, God is sovereign and his plans for you are good, even when the past seems unclear. And as we believe that, we will build bold faith.